What's up, guys? Getting ready to ship out some stones. This one's going to Craig V. And this is just ridiculous, in my opinion, how hard this ivory stone is for being a sedimentary rock. I mean, yes, if you dig the tip of a knife into it, you're gonna gouge it, but when you're using it in a flat plane at the right angle, you can really feel the microscopic abrasives just cutting steel instantly. And it's actually hard enough to the point that when I was using my 600 grit diamond plate, it actually started tearing diamonds out, and that may be because the plate is worn enough, but I started seeing metal coming out of the plate onto the surface of the stone. And you know, DMT's quality control hasn't been the greatest lately, but this plate is literally a month or two old tops, and it's already getting killed from lapping these stones. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick demo. I've got a really nice Lieutenant Wright Dark Horse, I think is the name of this knife. They've got them on DLT. I can post the link if you guys want to see them, but this is not my knife. I'm actually sharpening it for one of my friends here in the barracks, and just want to show you guys that with every stroke you can see a line of steel come off. Pretty cool for a heat treated carbon steel knife. Also, after we do a little sharpening, I'll show you what the purpose of your slurry stone is if you don't have a diamond plate. Now, my friend sharpened this on a belt sander, so there's a bit of a smile right here, and I'm not going to worry about trying to hone that out because I don't really feel like reprofiling this entire knife for $5. So I'm just going to hit what I can down in here, but it's going to be about there because this stabilizer is going to get in the way. So I told him not to keep belt sanding it to sharpen it and to use flat stones because it just takes off way more steel than you need to when you belt sand, and you'll lose as good a geometry as you could possibly have. So maybe a little bit hard to see on a gray stone, but you're gonna get a streak of metal every sharpening stroke. And these abrasives cut very, very fine, but very fast when the surface of the stone is freshly dressed. So when you've got this stone prepped smooth, like for example, if it's dressed with a 120 grit diamond plate, that's gonna make your stone flat, but not smooth. What makes it smooth is actually polishing the surface a bit. So with it freshly flattened, you can really hear how aggressive it is. And with this harder formulation of stone, I'm not really gouging into the surface unless I really try hard. I'm just acting like I'm shaving the top of the stone, and it pulls metal every stroke. I'm gonna try to give it a little bit of an arc so that when I wash it, you guys can see the metal lines a little bit easier. All right. So there's our arcing strokes going that way. Not the easiest thing to see on a stone that's the same color as the steel, but it's really obvious when you're holding one of these in person. So if you're just sharpening daily task use knives and you want a toothier edge, just sand it rough. But if you want to sharpen and hone a straight razor, you'll burnish the surface of the stone using your slurry stone. Now you could do this with a fine diamond plate, but like I said, I've actually noticed the stone is so hard that it killed a brand new 600 grit DMT diamond plate, lapping hundreds of these within like a month. That's faster than it would kill it if you're just lapping your own stone, but this thing is going to outlive pretty much every other type of sharpening product that's on the modern market. It's going to outlast ceramic stones. Synthetic diamond stones are going to come unplated and delaminated. And really, the only types of stones that are going to last longer than this over like decades would be Arkansas stones, because they're made of pure quartz, whereas this has silicates as the secondary abrasive, and it's in this clay binder. So that smooth clay binder plus the ultra fine particles is what lends it to do a ridiculously fine straight razor finish. But you got to know how to dress your stone the right way, otherwise you're not going to get the results that you want. So when you're going for a razor fine finish, slurry it up like that, smooth it in, feel that you're smoothing it, and you may even want to consider dressing it with water, because if I go with lightly trickling water, then every piece of the stone that comes free is getting washed away, and you can just see that it's going to glide really nicely. So if you're dialing this in to hone a razor that you want to shave your face with, after you've done your slurry work on your stone, say you're transitioning off like a 1000 grit bevel setter and you've wiped away those scratches, make sure you just treat it with finer care and use. I call this the super fine ivory for a reason, because it is super fine. And I don't know if you guys can hear the feedback difference, but it's got a silkier feel now. Still got that nice sing of the steel being ground off, kind of raspy sound, but the feedback is far smoother. So if you're doing really fine work and you need an ultra sharp edge, just consider that how you work the surface of the stone affects how much grit is exposed, which affects the final performance of your edge. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that quick tutorial. Just doing a little work on a bushcraft and field use knife for my buddy that's about to go out to the field, and dressing up this stone for Craig. I'll be back at you guys soon with more content on these videos. One of the next YouTube videos that I want to get on the channel is going to be how to sharpen a kitchen knife in 5 to 10 minutes, because that's something I'm pretty proficient at, and I know it's something a lot of people struggle with. So if you want to drop any comments below this video on what tips you need with knife sharpening, let me know. Peace and stay sharp. Catch you guys in the next one.